Welcome to Behind the Black Belt, a podcast about the people and black belts of BJJ.
Welcome to Behind the Black Belt. I'm your host, Rich, and my guest today is BJJ Black Belt, Andre Powell. Andre is a BJJ coach out of Langies MMA in Sydney, Australia. He is a coach and a teacher, and Andre has been training BJJ since 2008, and he received his black belt in 2016. And he is Australia's first and only vision-impaired BJJ black belt. Andrew Powell, welcome to Behind the Black Belt, mate, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Rich. I really appreciate it.
Andre, we have got so much to talk about. I am a closet fan of Andre Powell since we first met and you agreed to do the show. So I'm very much looking forward to this episode. So let's get straight into it. Why don't you get to start us off, Andre? Why don't you talk to us about where were you born and where were you raised?
Sure. So Sydney, Australia.
Born and bred?
Yep, born and bred. But I grew up till I was about 26 out in the western suburbs. So,
Okay.
Like Blacktown, finished high school out there.
Yep.
Did a bit of TAFE in uni. And then when I was 26, my whole family moved to the Northern Beaches. So 2013, I moved out here and it's been pretty nice. I quite enjoy it now.
So Sydney sider through and through?
Sydney sider through and through.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What's it like growing up in sort of that Blacktown, Western Sydney area?
It's really good if you haven't been anywhere else. Otherwise, when you go and come back, you go, wow, these places.
Oh man, that's the most backhanded compliment ever. Like it's really good if you've never lived anywhere else. Yeah. Fantastic. What was a day in the life of a young Andre like out in Western Sydney?
There's a lot more to do now, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, a lot more. The BJJ scene there now is getting a lot.
It's massive.
Yeah. There's a lot more gyms. There's more 24-hour gyms. So there's a lot more stuff to do. But when I was growing up, go to school, kind of hang out. Like we didn't have a skate park, or anything really. So it was just kind of like, grab a friend, roam around.
Yeah.
Get up to mischief, block a road off, go for a drink.
How do you block a road off? What do you mean by that?
When you're young, you just like steal road signs and like traffic signs and stuff. You put it along the road. So.
Yeah. Classic. It's such kid mentality. Why are you blocking the road off? I don't know. Just so that we could block a road off.
Yeah, because it's there.
It's just there and it needs to be blocked. Oh, that's great. And what did your parents do?
So for many years, my dad was a mechanic, but he's in the fire brigade now.
Okay.
Like 20 years. So he works at now DY Fire Station, but he was at Parramatta for another year. So my mum's a nurse, so very, very cliche government jobs, which is good. Yeah. With the whole COVID, they were never out of work, so that was really good. They seem to really enjoy what they do. So.
Yeah, great. And your father, so he was a mechanic for most of your childhood, or more?
Yeah,
the fire brigade?
Up until I think I was about. How old are you when you finish 11?
Okay.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, and any influence on you as a kid? I mean, having a parent that's so trade focused and can do so many things with their hands, do you sort of get into it as a kid as well?
No, I was never not being able to like kind of see well enough to be that handy was a bit of an issue, but they were pretty really, really good with what they like allowed me to do. They were never, no, you can't do that. So we had 7 acres when I was a kid up until I was about 13.
Okay.
So, and, dad being a mechanic at the time, he had a couple of cars just sitting there because I think everybody has a couple of cars if they're a mechanic.
Absolutely.
And we just used to take him out on the paddock and just go, small bush bashing and stuff. That was a lot of fun. So I got to drive.
How cool.
A lot of people in my situation probably haven't, got that experience.
Yeah, awesome.
Pretty grateful with that, yeah.
For sure. Well, why don't you tell us about your visual impairment since it's affected you since a child? How did it eventually start?
Oh, so it was from birth.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just born like that. So about when I was 3 days, they realized that there was something wrong. I had to go in for surgery. They diagnosed me with so bilateral congenital glaucoma. So bilateral just meaning both eyes,
Yeah.
congenital meaning from birth. So it wasn't something that developed later.
Yeah. Okay.
Glaucoma generally develops in people when they're, over the age of 50 or so. Um, and yeah, so that was it. I had to have
Yeah.
some, because I was born without the drainage channels in my eyes, which drain the fluid around to control the interocular pressure.
Okay.
So they had to go in and do something about that really quick. They put in some prosthetic ones, but because I was so young, I healed I healed too fast, and they had to go in and redo them a few times. So it was just many surgeries after that, and yeah,
Yeah.
so but
Okay.
that's okay. I have some amazing doctors, and they do a really good job. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't do anything better than that.
And what's it like growing up visually impaired?
Well, because I don't have a comparison.
Yeah. As I was asking it, I was like, which this is going to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
Sorry.
Because I don't have a comparison, I can't really say for certain.
Yeah.
Um, I would lean more on the lines to say it's easier for someone in my situation who doesn't know any better than for someone to lose their sight. Like, you see, from car accidents or bar fights, or, a lot of military vets come back, like that. And that would just be so devastating. Like that transition to relearn a whole different lifestyle,
Yeah. Yeah.
where I've just
Absolutely.
kind of just gone with mine my whole life. So it's been, yeah,
Yeah.
not too bad.
Yeah.
But, I would like a self-driving car. That would be nice.
One day, man. One day. It's all
One
right.
day.
As long as Elon Musk keeps kicking those goals, it'll happen.
Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
happen. All right, cool. Did you play any sport as a child?
No, none. So because of so many surgeries and stuff, my doctors were worried about like head trauma, because anything could knock something back. So I have some prosthetics in my, in like, stitched into my eye. They're like, you need to keep the impact to a minimum. So I went to public school, and the school that I went to, they were very heavy on the rugby and soccer and like stuff like that. My doctors said from the beginning, like, no, you can't, like none of that, because accidents might happen. And then they go, you'll be back in here for a month. And I'm going, yeah, I don't really want that. So I'll have to give
Yeah.
this. For some reason they netball as well, so I had to give that a miss as well.
Yes. So what did you find yourself doing as a child besides blocking roads and your studies?
I got really good at getting drunk when I was a teenager. That was a sport I could do. That music was a huge thing for me.
Okay.
And because I could see better than I can now when I was when I was a kid and teenager. So video games were still just doable.
Yep.
Like certain ones, like the old Mario and the old Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and
Wow. Cool.
that. Yeah.
Awesome. And music, were you playing instruments or just listening?
Just listening. I did play a bit when I was about 24, 25. I was briefly in a punk band, so
Awesome.
that was kind of cool. We didn't do anything. We just didn't make it out of the studio. So,
What did you play? What did you play?
I did vocals and piano.
Nice one. Nice
Yeah.
one. How did you learn to play the piano?
I started when I was in primary school. They kind of pulled me aside and said, "This is your piano teacher." I've gone, okay. So
Yeah.
this means I don't have to go to class. Like, not for this hour. I've gone, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why that happened, but yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. And then I did maybe 2 years and then stopped, and then picked it up again when I was in my early 20s, because my friend's sister, she played for about 20 years. So I said, I've gone, well, can you give me some lessons? And she was very nice and wouldn't accept money. So I've gone, perfect.
Yeah. The best type of teacher.
Yes.
And with your vision, are you able to see enough to manipulate your fingers around the piano, or is it all by feel?
It's all by feel. It was all by feel when I could see better.
Okay.
That would let me look. It's more, I just place like 2 stickers on middle C and then 1 on every C key after that, and then you can find your way around quite easily.
Wow. I mean, the last 2 sentences you said might as well have been in a different language to me.
Yeah.
Piano is just an amazing. I think it's an absolutely amazing instrument. It's for someone who doesn't know how to play. It's for a sweet version of chopsticks.
Yeah.
It just looks like just a maze of just millions of possibilities, and then people just fly their fingers over it and make this beautiful sound. My wife's a piano player, so I'm constantly astounded by what people can do on that thing.
It's amazing what people can do with when they have kind of like a full range, like a full eight octave range to play with. I find piano and maybe like the violin, maybe 2 of the most expressive instruments.
How do you find them? They're expressive.
Just the way you can kind of convey the emotion that you're putting into the music. Like you can
Yeah.
do that, I believe, more with piano and violin than I think more so any other instrument. Maybe a guitar to a smaller extent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's so true. I was just thinking about it then. My wife taught me one song, and I felt like, whilst it was very simple and it was the same, I don't even know the term for it. Probably the bit that I learned would go for 30 seconds, but it was, you could repeat it over and over again. I felt that you could do it angrily, you could do it
Yeah.
softly, you could do it gently. You're so right. You could really control the pitch, the tempo, the speed of it to express more. And it's just this simple 30-second loop just played at varying degrees. So yeah, I never thought about that before. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So what type of student was a young Andre Powell?
Uh, Average.
Average. You went to a public school, a public school that was because you're visually impaired.
Yeah.
Were there other visually impaired kids there as well, or was it just your stock standard public school?
Just stock standard public school. I was generally the only one.
Okay. And
Um,
and what adjustments sort of did you have to make to be in a school like that?
so all they really did was I had a teacher's assistant that would come to class and read the board, and then I could take notes. And I was a
Okay.
Braille user, so I had, whatever device I was using at the time, whether it be the old like Braille that's really noisy, or when I hit high school, I got some funding for a more like digital device, which was
Okay.
a lot better.
And what does that device do?
Think of a laptop that, but instead of your text on the screen, it's just some braille dots. So I could read that as while I was typing.
Yeah.
And then it was just a matter of like converting the work into a readable format. So if in school that was braille for me. So like some of the teachers just had to be a little bit more organized.
Okay.
That was not a problem for most of them. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And how did the other kids treat you?
Fine. I had a good base of friends.
Awesome.
And they were pretty accepting. I mean, like once I sat down and spoke to me and realized that there was no difference.
Yeah.
And, in high school, I wore a lot of black and started jewelry and chains. So
they were like just
I looked like all the other metalheads.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what were your ambitions when you were in school? Did you kind of have an idea what you wanted to do after school?
I was so undecided. At first, I wanted to do something with animals, and then I changed my mind. I wanted to do law, but then I took law in high school, and I didn't particularly like what I was reading, just how confusing it is.
Yeah.
And then I thought I wanted to do massage therapy because that was something that you can do just by touch.
Yeah.
And I did. I went on and did that for about a year when I left high school, but I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then I realized I've always found human behavior and psychology pretty interesting. So I started moving into that. I did a diploma in community services welfare and worked in drug and alcohol for a while. And then I went to Macquarie and did maybe a year and a bit of a BA in psych.
Yep.
And then jiu-jitsu got in the way.
This embuggerance that comes along.
Yeah.
BJJ. Awesome. So tell us about your sort of pathway to BJJ.
So I've always been into martial arts when I was a
Okay.
kid. So
Alright.
just, the Street Fighter, the Mortal Kombat, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. What did you like about it as a kid?
Um, I don't know. It was just cool.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, it looks cool. It was, um, that I suppose that's just the best kind of description I can give of it.
Oh, I get
It
it.
was interesting. Yeah. There's something that just draws you to a particular thing.
Yeah. And then as a kid, obviously you weren't able to participate.
I did do Taekwondo for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Okay.
my friends. I could see a bit better. My friend's dad owned a school out in Riverston,
Yeah.
so I did that for I think like 3 years.
Yep.
But then when it came down to sparring, like a lot of the kids my age were getting a little bit too sharp with their strikes and hit me like
Yeah.
in the face. And yeah, my doctors weren't happy about that, so my mom kind of pulled me out,
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
which is fine.
Yeah.
So I understand that. Um, and then I did nothing except for the music sing thing and go to concerts all
Yeah.
throughout school. So I've been fortunate enough to kind of see most everybody, which has been really good.
Well,
There's-
tell us about what you like about these concerts.
Oh, it's just the environment is always good. Live music is always fantastic. So, some bands are better live than what they are on the actual album. The
Yeah.
atmosphere is nice because they do create a good show.
Yeah.
And going to metal concerts, people are really nice. They're not, always completely off their face. So
Yeah. 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 And do you venture into the mosh pit?
I used to, yeah.
Oh man.
Almost in 2006, I almost died in the Cannibal Corpse mosh pit, and I've gone, I think that's it.
Oh, tell us that story. I mean, I put on Cannibal Corpse every now and then for my kids, just to be like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to see the music Dad used to like when I was
Yeah.
a bit of an angry teenager, and they're just like, what is this? It's because it's like I think it's like a machine gun firing. Like it's just so intense. I love it. I
Yeah.
do like it for the right mood that I'm in. But
Yeah.
how tell me about your Cannibal Corpse 2006 experience.
So it was the first time that they've been back to Australia since they got banned, I think in like 96, 97.
I didn't know they got banned. Why did they get banned?
Oh, I don't remember. There was rumors that they had like 2 actual corpses on stage or
Okay.
something like that. It might have just been a censorship thing.
Yeah.
The lyrics are pretty full on. So
They are pretty full on, yeah.
yeah, but also like bands from America and Europe and stuff. It cost them so much to get out to Australia.
Yeah.
As well. So it could have been just a financial issue.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, so their first concert back had to go, and it was at the Gaelic Club, which isn't around anymore, but it was next to Strawberry Hills, that pub in Surrey Hills, not far from Central Station.
Yeah.
And small venue, and there's no barrier between the floor and the stage. So everybody was just really crammed, really crammed up. There was a guy in a wheelchair there, and everyone was tripping over him.
Wow.
That was great. It was good to see that, like, he was getting out and seeing his favorite band and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. For sure.
Yeah, so all packed in, and I think it was like 2/3 of the way through the concert, or maybe even towards the end. And it was getting it was getting to that point where, you're so pressed up against people, you can almost take your feet off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a circle opened up in front of us, and the guy in front of me kept elbowing me, and I put up with it for maybe 10 minutes, and then I got annoyed and kind of pushed him forward, and then I didn't see him again for the rest of the concert. So he disappeared into that circle, and I've gone, oh, okay. And then someone from behind me just goes, you too, and shoves me towards it, and I almost hit the floor. And that wasn't a place you wanted to be with all those. Luckily, my friend caught me and pulled me back, and I've gone, whoa, that was really, really close.
Yeah.
And then Hammer Smashed Face came on, and everyone went nuts, and I've just gone, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got out safely, I assume?
Yeah, we got out safely.
Oh man. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about, your mum pulls you out of Taekwondo because the strikes are a bit too sharp, and then Here's Andre going, okay, well, I'm going to go to a Cannibal Corpse mosh pit then. You're
Yeah.
in the middle of that. That sounds so crazy, man.
Yeah. I was playing it safe. What I did is I took a pair of like diving goggles, like swimming goggles, and I cut the nose out so I could breathe. I just chucked them on and go in the mosh pit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. And so you're a massive concert fan. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's
Love
so
them.
cool.
If they were on right now, I'd be going.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome, man. All right. Sorry, I interrupted your story. So
No,
let's talk about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So how do you find yourself getting into this sport?
okay. So early 2008, a friend of mine wanted to join the police force, and he was really into the UFC and stuff. He lived in Miami for like 5 years and stuff, so he was exposed to that quite early on, like 2000 and 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had no idea what any of that was. I think I saw a brief like advertisement for it on Foxtel like many years ago in the 90s. I didn't know what it was. And he goes, "Oh no, I want you to come to jiu-jitsu with me." I've gone, "Dude, I can't do that, man. I got pulled out of martial arts when I was a kid for, getting clipped too much." And he's gone, "No. There's no striking in jiu-jitsu." I've gone, "Whatever, man." Then it's that Steven Seagal crap. And what's the point? And he goes, "No." He goes, now a friend of ours he was living at a gym in Seven Hills, just like a weightlifting gym, because it was under renovation or it was being sold. So it's actually closed, and he was just kind of caretaking the property. So he would let us come over and we could work out. And there was like tons of floor space. So my friend, he goes, "Let's get some gis and let's just like drill and roll a bit." And we're just doing whatever we could off YouTube because he had no prior experience either.
Yeah.
Looking up YouTube, and Submissions 101 came up and Eddie Bravo popped up. So we're just kind of just trying things out. I thought, okay, this is not too bad. Like I could probably do this.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Let's think about going to like a proper club." And I've gone, okay. I've gone, "Well, all right, I'll go with you. But you've got to let them know that I can't see, and that, like we don't know how we're going to approach it." So he said, "Yeah, no problem." He goes, "I'll talk to them and email them." And because if there's an issue, we'll just find somewhere else. So he emailed the first one that popped up on Google, which was in Castle Hill, maybe like 15 minutes from where I was living and about 5 minutes from where my friend was living at the time.
Okay.
And my first instructor, Simon Farnsworth, came up at Castle Hill BJJ. It's called Universal Combat Academy. And he read the email and he said, "Definitely come down, no problem, all good. Yeah, sometimes we roll with our eyes closed for the warm up, so I think we'll work something out." We've gone,
Yeah.
fantastic, awesome. So we went down there, so nervous, had to be pushed in the door.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, what were you thinking? Were you just, because I mean, you're obviously physically tough, because that mosh pit story doesn't come for free, right?
Yeah.
So you've got some robustness about you. But what were your thoughts of how it was going to go? Why were you nervous?
I had no idea. I guess because I had no idea. The lane can be nerve-wracking sometimes. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was great. Hooked from the first lesson.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And do you remember your first lesson? Like how, what you heard, how it was, what you did you roll?
Yes, I think I do. I remember the warm-up roll. I remember
Yeah.
we did that. That was good. And I think we did cross choke from side control.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, were you quickly picking up these techniques? What was it that you sort of fell in love with?
I really enjoyed the fact that I could do jiu-jitsu the same way as everybody else.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, there wasn't, okay, wait 1 sec, I'm going to throw a ball at you, have your hands up and count to 3. It was stick your hands in the collar and pull your elbows back. There's a choke, and it works the same for everybody. Okay, this is great.
Yeah. And you were hooked straight away?
Hook straight away.
Yeah. And then what happens then?
remember my instructor Simon at the time. He also grabbed me and rolled with me, so which was good. Gave some excellent advice. And then second lesson, Simon grabbed me again. He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Now I'm just going to show you a little bit of what a black belt's like." And I haven't, probably to this day, still ever tapped that quickly. Yeah. And I'm like kind of scratching my head. I'm like, how do people move that quickly?
Yeah. It's I think everyone's got one of those experiences, haven't they?
I think
You're
so.
like, oh, okay, here's a black belt. I wonder if I'm gonna have a chance. And then your arm is like under your leg and your head is twisted, and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm fascinated by your comment a second ago, Andre, where you said you were doing something that it didn't matter that you were visually impaired. It was the same for those with full vision and those without. Is this, that's a very egalitarian sort of setting that you discovered. Is there any other thing that's comparable to that, or was jiu-jitsu one of the first things that you're like, this, it's almost like an even playing field now?
Jiu-jitsu was the first thing that I discovered that was like that.
Okay.
I think there are some similarities for judo and maybe like wrestling.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah.
So I suppose the grappling arts,
Yeah.
just with the close contact that you can, the fact that you don't have to worry about getting punched or kicked in the face or anything like that.
I know you don't have the point of comparison, but what is it about not requiring full visual to be able to progress and be successful at the grappling arts? How would you describe it to someone?
The best way I could kind of describe it would be you let your other senses do the work.
Okay.
Which is good. So instead of relying on one, you can rely on four more. Yeah. So if you've ever, do you want to play poker with, 4 cards or 1 card?
Okay.
Yeah.
What senses do you find you rely on as you're doing your training?
Proprioception for sure. Your sense of like touch, all those physical ones. Hearing as well. You have to, you've got to listen to your partner if you're trying to strangle them, whether they're conscious or not.
Wow. I can tell you right now, I've never listened to someone whilst I was trying to strangle them. What am I missing here?
Listen to the breathing.
Yeah.
You generally feel the partner go limp if they do fall unconscious, but some people don't go limp. Some people twitch.
Okay.
And you got to listen to how they're breathing. Like, are they doing the gurgle because like their airway is obstructed and they're still conscious, or are they doing that because they're snoring and they're out?
Wow. Okay. So there's touch, there's hearing. What was the first sense that you mentioned?
Proprioception.
Yeah. Could you elaborate on that one for me?
So balance and, like being aware of your surroundings, I suppose, without a visualization.
Yeah. And did you feel that particular sense you were good at already as a result of your visual impairment, and jiu-jitsu kind of increased it? Because I feel that once you start doing grappling and you're moving your body in ways that you've never moved it before, that's a natural increase. But it's almost, would you have had a head start on that than the normal person taking up BJJ?
Maybe slightly. Yeah. I was told I had decent balance.
Yeah.
Or going into it. I didn't feel I did. I thought I was uncoordinated, but apparently I was relatively hard to sweep, and that was just trying to stay upright like my whole life and not tripping over stairs, and you quickly learn to be a little bit fleeter on your feet.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Because I've read, a lot, you're an inspiration to many people online. So I've read a lot of things about you. And one of the comments, I'm not sure how you take these comments, you can tell us now, but a lot of people go, oh, I know what this is like. I roll with my eyes closed sometimes, which I'm a bit like, okay, that's not really a comparison. You know what I mean? Because I have also rolled with my eyes closed, but when I want to open them, I open them immediately, and then my vision's back, and I don't have to rely on my other senses.
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot?
No,
No.
no. I've had training partners in the past that when they are rolling with me, they will close their eyes,
Yeah.
and then they will do that for 2 weeks, and then they will come away and go, you know what, I
Wow.
love it. They go,
Yeah.
like, especially if you're playing an inverted game. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're looking at your partner, if you're inverted and trying to play Baron Polo or anything like that with the feet on the chest, looking back up at your partner, like if you want to attack one of those inverted triangles or spin back through for an armbar, you've got to look at the partner, mirror everything that's happening. If you're not looking, then you can feel it out, and then your body can move a little more instinctively through that way. So they found that they were not relying on their vision for movement and attacks, and just like following what their body naturally wanted to do
Yeah.
through that. And they had to think less, because
That's-
instead of going, okay, now I want to grab their right arm, but their right arm is now their left arm, and they just go, I'll use cross grip, grab that arm, drag it across.
That's fascinating, man.
Yeah.
That if you want to think less, then decrease the input, close your eyes, and just simplify the problem is kind of what you're describing. I've never thought of that. I thought by closing your eyes you'd have to think more because you're trying to compensate for it.
No, I don't think so. That's what I find. But
Yeah.
my general rule is follow the hips.
Yeah.
Hips will tell you exactly where the person wants to go and is going to go.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that concept of just trying to get your other senses into the game by taking out the one that you rely on the most, your vision, and but not just half a way through a role like I was describing before, but like you said, you've had some people that just gone, okay, I'm doing this for 2 weeks, and just increase every other aspect as well. That's fascinating.
Yeah. People's games, they tighten up as well. I mean, if you're rolling with someone who is not used to rolling with their eyes closed, you feel they get a bit rigid, but the game tightens up. They're a bit tighter. They're not making mistakes by moving too quickly.
Yeah.
As well,
Yeah.
like everything they do is just that fraction more precise than what it was maybe 5 minutes ago.
That's really cool. And I saw you had advertised. I think you're going to travel up to Queensland and do some seminars, but unfortunately the COVID kicked in. But this is something that can really change people's games. I think this is going to be once everything sort of finishes up. This is going to be great.
I hope so. Yeah. Well, they still want me up in Matt Cooper up at Advanced Martial Arts. He's running a free program for people with vision impairments, and a free program
Fantastic.
for the war vets, and he still wants me up. I'm in touch with him a fair bit. So just as soon as gyms have only just opened,
Yeah.
he's only just opened back up. So as soon as he says, yeah, let's do it, I'm on the next plane. So
Awesome. That's so cool. All right, Andre, let's talk about your BJJ journey. So what is white belt like for you?
White belt was good. White belt was a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
It did take me a little bit of time to kind of grasp it. I don't know if it's different to many other people's, I guess, experience with it. 6-9 months in is when it started to really click for me.
Yeah, I remember there's a SBS short clip that they did on you and your BJJ training. And Anthony, I remember they interviewed Anthony Lange, and he said, when I first saw him, I thought he had no chance.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, there you go.
I love his honesty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah absolutely. So what happened around the sort of 6-9 month mark?
It just started to click. All the movements started to become easier. Your body's very used to, doing everything and carrying, a whole other person on top of you. And you're not getting mat burn as much. The techniques start to make, sense now because you've done them probably 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's just that light bulb moment that
Yeah.
everybody talks about.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely remember my one. It's probably around the first time you get a submission because you're probably around quitting. I don't know if you were, but I was. I was like, I ain't doing this, man. This is too hard. And then you get your first submission and you do your first sweep, and you're like, oh, whoa, wait a second, something. I'm transforming into something else. So, yeah, very relatable. And then tell us about getting your blue, and then the next step in your journey.
Oh, blue was great. Very hard grading, I suppose. Like I've never been the fittest of people either, but jiu-jitsu was great. It was something I could do, and it was something that was like helping me get fitter, lose weight. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I felt pretty decent when I was getting towards my blue belt. Like it had all started to make sense. You started to give everyone a hard time. You catch, some of the fresher blue belts. I did one tournament before my blue belt, my first white. That was the first time I met Anthony.
Yep.
I lost that by 1 point.
Oh no. So that was your first competition?
First competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I had him at a clock choke. My hands gave out. I got a sweep, a guard pass, and then I was so tired. Right at the end, he was standing over. I was in turtle. He was standing over me. He just kind of grabbed my shoulders and just turned me over.
Yeah.
No technique, just turned me over. And then he sat down mount. And I'm like, nah. Oh well, that was cool.
Yeah.
Next one.
How did you go in the lead up to your first competition? Was it the same sort of nerves as your first lesson?
More so.
Yeah.
Way more so.
To describe to us the other senses, when you're lining up, when you're getting ready, when they announce your name, when you're out there, the crowd's there. What is that feeling like?
Everything kind of shut off.
Okay.
Like the only voice I could hear was my instructor.
Yeah.
And then everything kind of, I didn't really notice anything else. You kind of completely forget that there's a crowd there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was it. So it was just like having a really tough wrestle at the gym.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So it didn't affect you too much. You just got in there and did it.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then you got your blue belt.
Got the blue. That grading was tough. The blue belt grading, the 10 2-minute rounds. I think we must have done.
Yeah, right.
15 rounds.
Yep.
Just because my instructor forgot to put the timer on for a couple of them, and but that was great. I was just dead afterwards.
Yeah.
Fell against the crash mat, and I'm just like, okay, someone carry me out.
Yeah. And did you feel after you got your blue that pressure of wearing a color around your waist now, when you sort of had it, you felt it?
Yeah, because all the white belts want to get the new blue belt. It's the same with every single belt. It just gets worse.
Yeah. I can imagine. Awesome. And you're I mean, because you got your black belt really quickly, relatively. So you must have just
trained pretty full time.
Yeah, you must have just been, because you mentioned that you just full time trained. So it never stopped from white all the way through to black and to now, I assume.
Yeah. So I was at uni when I started, and then I've gone, how do I not have to go into uni so much? So I kind of rescheduled like my class structure around that. And then I deferred for the next year. And then I went back, but again, minimal class structure so I could train, because about that 2010, at that time, I just started teaching for the first time at a small kickboxing gym in Blacktown called Fight Right. And I wanted to do that, give that, as much as I possibly could. So
you're teaching BJJ?
I was, yeah.
Tell us about your approach to teaching BJJ.
Ooh, interesting. So I've got a very, I suppose, descriptive style of teaching. I do have to apologize to my students a fair bit and just say, was that too much? Because the way I do break down the moves, it's at least in 5 steps.
Yep.
Instead of you get, say you take the basic sweep, the scissor sweep. You take your cross collar grip, deep in the collar, and then your other hand straight grip on the sleeve, thumb in hopefully, and then unlock the guard. Foot to the floor, hip escape, knee shield across, and then your other leg is down by their knee, and then you have to angle off a bit and pull them onto you to break the posture, and then do the scissor motion and sweep them over.
Mm.
So like to me that sounds pretty just like reasonable, and like that's the level of description that I would probably like.
Yep.
So for me to get what's in my brain out, sometimes I do tend to, I think, talk a bit too much, and I will constantly apologize to my students and go, was that too much? Did you guys get it? And I didn't start to really kind of get on top of that when I started teaching white belts. Anthony said, he goes, that's too much information for them. He goes, break it down. He just goes, turn some of those, two-step descriptions into one. I've gone, oh, that makes so much more sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. And so why do you think you are so technical when it comes to describing things? Because from my perspective, what you just described then with the scissor sweep, I'm seeing it. You know what I mean? I'm like, yep, okay.
Yep.
I was with you every step that you were describing. Then I'm moving in my head visually. Is it because you're not describing sort of the technique as you see it, but you're describing the technique as you feel it? Which
that is 100% correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never been able to probably like see a technique done like in its completion.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time someone will grab me and go, it's done like this. So
Yeah.
I'm feeling out which I do like, because you get 100% of the information.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Sorry.
I'm just reminded of John Will's story when he got his black belt. He just started again, and starting again, breaking it down in the detail that you're describing now. It might not be everyone's way of learning, but it's a very detailed way of learning, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I like that, because ask any black belt or anyone that's been doing, jiu-jitsu or grappling for a long time. There are so many unconscious movements that you make without realizing it. The one I've done it in teaching, and I kind of came away scratching my head going, oh, I can't believe I missed that detail. One of the best examples that I do give, when I was a blue belt, we're working arm drags.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to drag your partner's right arm, so it's a straight grip on the wrist with your left hand, right arm cross grip on the tricep, bend it 90 degrees, pull it across your body, move your hips out. But a lot of people will take the wrist with their, say, left hand palm up, and then they will turn it down. So from a supine position up, like turn the wrist down to get it across the body, a lot easier. And my instructor was saying, grab it, palm up, and then pull it across the body. But the hand was getting stuck. And then one of my training partners, another blue belt at the time, he was watching a lot of Marcelo Garcia. Marcelo Garcia was very adamant about the downward turn of the grip on the wrist.
Yeah.
To easily get it across the body. And I pulled my instructor. I called him over. I said, Simon, it's just not working. And he goes, oh, hey, he goes, let me do it to you. And he did it a couple of times. I've gone, stop. I've gone, Simon, you're midway through. You're going from supine down, like palm grip down, turning the wrist. And he goes, am I? I've gone, yeah. He goes, I didn't even realize. I've gone, no, it's because you've done 10,000 arm drags in your life. It's just a movement that you're so used to doing.
Yeah. So it's a little subtleties like that.
Yeah. So that's why I do like someone, like drilling, I find important, because you get the 100% of the information that the person is trying to get across to you. So you do feel those unintentional movements.
Yeah. And this style of teaching, did it come before jiu-jitsu? Were you had this ability to sort of break things down into their detail to portray them, or is it something that jiu-jitsu has kind of taught you?
No, I definitely think it's something that jiu-jitsu has taught me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I find it fascinating, back to our conversation about if you take away the visual impairment aspect of it and excuse me, the visual aspect of it, and you want to improve your other senses, as you said, training partners, you've done that for 2 weeks. I think you could even escalate that if you're an instructor and want to really instruct without the visual cues, and you're developing your instructional game holistically as well. It's not just a thought I was having, that I can hear you describing.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
that's fascinating, man. That's fascinating. All right, so talk us through your next progressions, your sort of purple, your browns, and then up to your black.
Okay. So blue belt was cool. The you've heard people on the Australian BJJ community refer to blue belts as technique collectors. That's so true for
It is so
everyone.
true. It is so
Yeah.
true. I know of blue belts that know so many techniques, like they're like encyclopedias of techniques, right?
Yeah.
And then you roll with them, and they can't
Yeah.
do any. They can't do any of them. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because they just haven't done. They learn. They just there's no doing. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I've had blue belts that that'll tell me, go, have you heard of this? No. Have you heard of this? No. Like, can you show me? Oh, maybe. Oh, okay. Can you do it while we're rolling? No. But no, it's so true. Everyone falls victim to that, especially because like YouTube was starting to become popular. Like myself, like
Yeah.
I had stuff out. Eddie Bravo had tons of 10th Planet stuff out as well. So that was just fun, just going through that, dealing up with training.
So you were a collector at Blue Belt?
Of course, everyone.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah. A training partner of mine, Rob Saba, he's a black belt now as well. Everyone would have seen him. He's the little Asian guy that flying arm bars everybody.
Yeah, I think I have seen it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. He's been at what's that other Subversion. Yeah, he's been at Subversion and Sub-Only and Grappling Industries and all that. Really, really good. So we were main training partners for a long time until I moved, and it was great just letting him like just work because he had the book, like the Eddie Bravo books and everything, and he was doing like flying arm bars, flying triangles, and he needed someone that could hold him up, and I could hold him up, and that was easy. So like that was fun, and then competing. You kind of just get roped in competing because your friends are doing it. We did what did we do? I did an ADCC trials when I was a boy.
Yeah. I read about that.
Oh really? Oh my god!
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. No, someone. That's how one of the threads I came across started. Just like, hey, I just competed ADCC. There was a guy there that was visually impaired. Does anyone know him? And then just everyone's just like, all this stuff about you and yeah.
Oh, cool. Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we flew down to Melbourne for that one. I think it was like it was 2011, and it was the very last one that they held in Australia. I think John Donahue was running it, and I got Mick Wilson first round, one of Peter Devine's black belts.
Yeah.
And he's 6'5", 115 kilos and shredded.
Yeah.
So that didn't last very long. He armbarred me, but it was good. It was a lot of fun. I got to see Dave Hart and Camero, win their divisions. Igor Proporchikov, I hope I said that correctly. He was there. He was competing. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Then we flew. We came back. We did one of the Abu Dhabi Pros in the gi.
Yep.
I've done a bunch of those. That was really fun, except they made me go up against my training partner in the first round.
Ugh.
But it was on Sherdog.
Yeah. Oh, was it really?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, because we're on the map. It was being streamed to Dubai.
Yeah, right. How cool. That's
cool. It's got me failing a flying armbar, and that's got him Kimoring me.
Oh, and I saw you put a video up. You're in the background of a Gary Tonin promotional video as well.
Oh, for his Polaris. Yeah, I was over at Henzo's in 2017.
Yeah.
With one of my mates, one of my training partners.
Yeah, I just loved your comments. Just like, oh, I agreed to appear in Gary Tonin's promotional video. Hopefully he'll be in mine. Classic.
He never was.
Classic. He never was. Not yet anyway, mate. It's early days.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they were there, that the cameras were there that day. It was I believe that was his Polaris when he went up against Dylan Dennis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Keep us through. What happens next with your belts?
Okay, so that was blue belt. Blue belt was a lot of fun. Then purple came.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. I think purple belt is maybe the one I've competed at the most. I think I counted like 16 tournaments at that point. Wow. Yeah, it was good. I got my purple belt at the end of 2011, and I stayed a year at Castle Hill, and then I moved. So I went from because Simon's a black belt under Anthony, so I went from there to Anthony's gym.
Okay.
Yeah, which was.
And what's driving you to compete so much?
Um, I had no idea. I was just doing it because everyone else was at the time.
That's so cool.
Well, it was kind of fun. You go with your teammates, and you go have a couple of matches, and make a day out of it. The best thing is always going out to dinner afterwards.
Yeah. I just love that though, because I mean, you get your extremes. You're like, I compete because I want to win. I've got this drive. And then you get other people. It's like, I don't want to compete. I don't do it. It's not my thing. And you're like, I just do it because everyone's doing it. I do it because I get to hang out with my mates and we have dinner afterwards. I just,
Yeah, it's always been fun. But look, it really does. It shows you where you are going right and it shows you where you're going wrong. It is the fastest way to improve, like your jiu-jitsu as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Shows
so cool.
what it gives you an A game.
Yeah.
Then it gives you a B game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Really,
And
really sharpens everything up.
and I mean have you ever come across any other visually impaired athletes at any of these competitions, or you're like literally the only one?
Okay, no. So I believe Gracie Barra, Springwood.
Okay.
I believe they have a vision impaired gentleman down there. He's a black belt as well.
Okay.
Last time I saw him, I think he was a blue.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, him, and there are now. I haven't met these people yet either. Now Matt Cooper has a fair few as well. I bet he's gym and advanced martial arts.
Yeah.
They're white belts, I believe.
Yeah.
My friend Clint Burns from Gracie Barra, Campbelltown. He's got a vision impaired blue belt. I've been out there to train and enroll with him. He's really good. It's good. I'm going to start teaching there very, very soon as well.
Awesome.
So that's cool. So there's, how many is that? Yeah. So there's a few now.
And I mean, there's obviously quite a varying range of visual impairments. When have you met up with these other guys and girls that are visually impaired and doing BJJ as well?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay.
Yeah. The only one I've met is Josh from Campbelltown. So far, I saw the other gentleman. I think his name is Mark, from the Gracie Barra Springwood. I saw him at a tournament.
Yeah.
Someone pointed him out to me.
Yeah.
But I think I was brown at the time. I think he was blue.
Okay.
I think. I hope I'm getting it correct. I apologize severely, to anybody if I'm not. But that was just my recollection. I was that was my first brown belt tournament, and I was like tired and wrecked. And do you know Shahar Khan at all?
No.
He was Elvis and Anthony's top black.
Okay.
Won everything. He was in our open division, and we're all standing there going, "Oh, why do we bother?
This is going to hurt. This is not going to be fun."
We know he's going to win. Yeah. So I didn't get a chance. I was trying to stay warm, trying to, coach one of my training partners a bit. And yes, unfortunately I haven't. I mean, I would like to. Like, that has been my aim for a long time. I've, tried. I've got a program designed that I think is beneficial for people with vision impairments to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and I'm so interested about that, and we'll talk about that, and the YouTube channel that you're coming soon, that you're going to put all that on. And I was just curious because you have been visually impaired. You're born with it, as we discussed. But someone who became visually impaired later in life, I'm just curious whether they have the same learning cues that you had to adapt to, or whether theirs has to be slightly different. Like everyone learns differently, you know what I mean? And I'd be curious whether the same blueprint would apply for every person that's visually impaired, or whether it needs to be tailored slightly.
I'm sure things would need to be tailored slightly, just because everyone's different and everyone does intake information differently. That's one thing that I do try to make sure that I get right as a coach.
Yeah.
You have your how many ways of learning, the kinesthetic, the visual, and the auditory.
Yeah.
And I really like to find out which students of mine fill into what categories.
Yeah.
And then I try and make sure that I do, try and fill each, like each one. I mean, personally, if it was up to me, I would like to split the class like into three.
Yeah.
and go, okay, make sure that everyone, gets the 100% of the same information, but not, you can't do that. So as long as I can, demonstrate the move correctly, describe the move correctly as best as possible, and then if anybody needs like further, like any kinesthetic or just having the move drilled with them, then I'll go around and do that.
Mm.
Yeah, just because everybody has different ways of learning. So someone who may have lost their sight, I think, would have to probably use the same parameters as what I have, but they may have different interpretations of it as well. But it would also be I could be wrong, but I feel it would also be a larger adjustment for them as well, because they have to adapt a whole different lifestyle for them, for what they losing something that they've used their whole life to suddenly having no use of it.
It's fascinating, the different types of ways of learning. I love your concept of dividing the class that suits their style of learning as well. And then if you want to throw another layer on it, well, maybe it's teaching people a different way of learning. They have to learn a different way to learn, and then you can teach them from different angles, if you will. And I think that comes back to what we were discussing before. Take away the visual, you might learn a different way of taking in information. And then you plug back the visual, and then suddenly your repertoire of your ability to take in information has doubled, if you will. So it's a fascinating aspect of BJJ that I don't think many people apply much time to. And that's, because people are generally teach, this is how I was taught, so this is how I'm going to teach. So I'm finding it thoroughly enjoyable to hear about a different approach to that.
Yeah. I mean, and, if someone could use all three of those methods, like, aesthetic, visual, and auditory, they may find, massive improvements.
Big time.
Some things that they do with children as well, when they're learning to read, they get them to put their hand on the paper, and they get them to trace the letter or the word. Apparently it helps improve their reading ability quite dramatically. So that's utilizing too your visual and your kinesthetic.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, so talk us through. So we're at purple belt now.
Well, okay. So 2012 to 2013, I was at Castle Hill. We did a bunch of tournaments. That was fun. I think that was the second time I came up against George Adam. I got him at my very first blue belt tournament, strangled me. Came up second, my first purple belt tournament, strangled me again.
Oh, is this Big Georgie?
Yeah, Big George.
Big Georgie with his big hands. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, that was great. That was a lot of fun. He's always really good to wrestle with.
He's a super nice guy too.
Yes, yeah, very much so. So we did that. So I think 2012 was pretty uneventful. I did a Pro Cup. How did I go in that one? Oh, I don't remember. Oh well. So 2013, I made the move from out west to the Northern Beaches.
Okay.
That was really good, except I feel that I think they hazed me for like a month.
At your new gym?
Yeah.
Why do you get that sense?
Oh, because everyone tore my head off for a month.
Maybe it's their initiation.
Also, coming in as a purple belt as well, it would be at any gym as well. Coming in as a purple belt, people want to really prove it to you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Fresh. It's literally fresh meat.
Fresh
meat. Yeah, I've switched gyms many a times, and I remember one gym in particular, in the bag room, when I was putting my bag down, this guy just eyeing me off, and he was just like, "How much do you weigh?" He's just like, "I reckon you're going to be a good roll." I'm like, "Man, I'm not even in my gear yet." He's already throwing down. This is going to be tough, and it really was tough. You're right. There's something. It's a weird thing that's hard to describe to anyone that's outside of BJJ. This ultra competitiveness that's interlayered with all these colored belts. It's fascinating. So you got hammered, and then they accepted you as one of their own.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. It was eventually. Definitely toughens you up, which is great. Yeah. And then midway through 2013, I went with my training partner Rob Sava we went over to California to train for a month and a bit over there in North Hollywood at the High Stand Academy with Gokor Javichin and Gene LaBelle.
Wow. Wow. How was that?
It was insane.
Yeah.
So the gym has two rooms. Each room has a bunk bed and a lounge, and we stayed in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then just training every day?
Was training every day.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And so, and what were some of the highlights of that America trip?
Ooh. So we went to North California, up to Santa Clara. We did the Gracie Worlds.
Oh.
Yep. No gi submission only. I won my division.
Wow.
Yeah. That
Right.
was cool. Then after that, we came back. Then we went over to Vegas for Grappler's Quest, when Grappler's Quest was still on.
Yeah.
And that UFC show weekend that they put on, which generally we went there as well. Got to see GSP was there. We watched Ronda Rousey's Q&A. There was a bunch of fighters. That was really cool. Grappler's Quest was awesome.
Yeah.
First competition with heel hooks. That was really cool. I believe one of Drysdale's black belts won my division. I got Kimura pretty quick. We saw Vanderlei Silva. We saw a very intoxicated Nate Diaz in the lobby of our hotel.
That's a shocker, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure he was. He was stumbling around, so I'm assuming he was.
Yeah, I think it's a safe bet.
I was too scared to go up and say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I mean, when you head out and about, like the reason I ask is I'm about to ask you about Fran Hellman, who's your mate over in Sweden, who's a BJJ blue belt, also visually impaired, and it struck me because I took a snapshot of it, and there's Van Hellman in the training room of his gym with his guide dog in the corner in his gi with blue belt about to train.
Yeah.
When you are out and about, would people know that you're visually impaired?
Oh yeah, I carry a white cane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't used to. I think it's something that a lot of people do struggle with because it does bring attention to you.
Yeah. Right.
And sometimes you get some weirdos coming up to try and talk to you.
Are they? What are they trying to talk to you about? Because I ask because I hear interviews with people in wheelchairs, and they say the most annoying people is people who think they're helping, like come up and just start pushing them without asking permission, and you're just like, "Hey, weirdo, get away from me! It's my personal space."
Yeah. It's more. I suppose it's just questions you've heard like 1,000 times, or someone will be like, they think that they're trying to be nice, but then they'll wave their hand in front of your face to see if you can see it. Oh yeah, all the time. Wait, are you really blind?
Oh
yeah,
my
man.
God.
Yeah, man. Like, how many fingers am I holding up? I'm like, I don't know.
Jesus. Oh, you should pull out some of that taekwondo that you've got deep down and just snap kick out to them, because that's terrible.
Oh, it happens. People just don't know how to approach it.
Yeah. All right. Well, fair enough. Okay. So you do this amazing America, and you said, was that the trip that you go to the Renzo Gracie Academy?
No. Renzo was in 2017.
Yeah,
so right. In this one, we just stayed at North Hollywood, just at Gokor's, and we'd go down twice a week to train with Eddie Bravo at 10th Planet HQ as well. We got to see a brown belt Gio Boogie Martinez. So that was
wow.
Cool.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. And then what's next in your journey?
Oh, okay. After that, there was I hadn't traveled for training for a while, just because it was so intense. Like there, we had like do you know Kara Parisian? No. Okay. Watch the GSP's first fight in the UFC was him. Yeah, all the Armenian guys. So he was there. It was like a war every day.
Yeah, right.
And like your body falls apart. Like there was a sauna, so we just hop in that twice a day, just for like recovery. And because you're there and you're in the gym, then people just assume that you want to train all the time. We had one of our friends there. He used to come in, nice guy, really, really lovely dude. He would come in at about 5 and he'd be like, "Hey guys, want to grapple?" I'm like, "No, we can't move. Go away."
Yeah.
And then like I'd feel sorry for him. Like, "All right, come on, I'll roll with you for 20 minutes or something." And then he did that for a while, and we kind of just got a bit tired of it. I'm like, I can't. My body's. I was 26,
Yeah.
and you heal pretty quickly, but at that point in time, you're getting a bit better, and people are, they're not holding back on you anymore, and
Yeah.
you start to break a little bit. And he comes in, he goes, "Hey guys, I ate a pizza and French fries. Who wants to grapple? I need to work it off." I'm like, does that even go together?
Yeah. That's that's a weird combination.
Yeah. And so I've gone, all right. I've gone, but you need to stop eating junk food. So,
Yeah.
so I roll with him. And the next day he comes back, he goes, "Hey guys, you want to grapple?" I ate a pizza and French fries. And we just snapped. We've gone, "Stop eating fucking junk food. I swear to God. We're trying to nap. We have this many minutes until something else starts."
Oh, that's good. But to be fair, Andre, I'm getting pretty hungry. I wouldn't mind a pizza and some French fries. It sounds like it's a strange, unorthodox, but sounds like a delicious coupling, to be honest.
I know. I'd like that too. I haven't had sugar in 2 weeks. So
But I wouldn't want to train straight afterwards. I can tell you that for free.
I'd throw up.
That'd be miserable.
I don't
That'd
know
be
how he
miserable.
wasn't throwing up. Because I was putting a knee right on him pretty hard to try and make him.
Like that. Awesome. All right. So let's talk to your journey to your black belt. So when are we around that area?
So 2016 was when I got my black belt.
Yeah.
So I finished up 2013 with a few more tournaments.
Yeah.
2014 I had to have off competition just because it's broken.
Yeah.
I injured my back getting out of bed.
Yeah.
But you're still during training.
You're still training though, but you're just not competing. Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. Training just because my training partner Sonny Brown, he was competing a lot because he before class one time he goes, "Man, because I really love what you guys are doing. Just all these tournaments and stuff." And he goes, "I'm going to do it next year." He goes, "I'm going to do it all," and he did.
Wow.
So I trained with him all for that, and as much as I can with that back injury because I tweaked it getting out of bed.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those embarrassing ones.
Yeah, I know. It was just a pulled muscle, but then I got thrown in judo and hurt it again.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, and then 2 weeks after that, I got rear-ended in a car accident, and then hurt that again.
That's what we call a bad streak, Andre.
Yes.
That's what we call a bad streak.
Yes. So I was trying to at my best to rehab it. Went to Bikram yoga, and that really helped sort it out.
Nice.
Didn't stick with it because it's super expensive.
Yeah.
And then decided I needed an actual holiday. So me and a few friends, we went off to Hawaii and then cruised back from Hawaii to Sydney. Got to see a good lot of French Polynesian. That was a lot of fun.
Oh.
Yeah. Came back, got my brown belt at the end of that year. That was great. And then 2015, I had to start competing again. First brown belt tournament, I silvered against one of the Gracie Barra guys. I lost him 5 times. I just can't pull it out when it's him. Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Then what was the next? Then next one was state titles.
Yeah.
Again, I silvered there. I don't know if I got a bronze in the Open, but I got Kel Loxotti from Grappling Education in the Open, and I lost my fingernail trying to judo throw him. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, I know. Because I slammed my hand in a door like a week prior. I didn't realize how loose my nail was.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got counted like off the hip throw because Kel's a judo black belt.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that at the time until he sacrificed through me off a poor hip toss.
Yeah,
and
right.
We had a really good back and forth. That was a fun match. But he caught me in I think it's a bread cutter choke.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end, and I came off. I've gone, "That was awesome, man. Thank you." I've gone, but I bled everywhere, so I think that one's mine.
Yeah. I lost the most blood for this match.
Yeah.
Nice.
I've gone, my blood's on you. So
that's it.
And then was that my last time? Oh no! Before that, I'd flown down to Melbourne for yeah, for the Arnold Classic, the very first one.
Oh, cool.
In Australia, they had jiu-jitsu for the first time. John Will was running it with
Awesome.
Cameron, and I won that one. I won the Brown Belt Open.
Nice one.
Yeah, so that was cool. And then the Manly Daily found me and did the first article.
Yeah, no, I've seen that article.
It was cool.
Some pretty cool techniques in all the pictures in that article. I love them.
Yeah, they were great. And then I was, after the state title tournament, I was pretty injured. Kel cracked my arm in an armbar. I got dropped Sinagi'd in the finals of my division, and I took the rest of that year off from competing and just trained as normal. And then 2016 we did that year, and got my black belt at the end, which was really
awesome. Cool. Tell us about the ceremony of your black belt. Sort of, what was the testing? Who was there? What describe it to us if you can.
Well, I almost didn't show up.
That would have been awkward.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Anthony's so old school and so stoic. You can't read what's going through his head. Yeah. He doesn't tell you either. Yeah. He doesn't like to. So he'd given me some stuff to work on. He goes, I like to write every black belt a list of stuff that they need to do a year prior, just to tighten the games up so they're ready. And he gave me a list. I was like, well, he said that there was a list. He gave me 2 things to do and then never told me anything else.
Yeah.
He goes, go work your butterfly game, go work your leg locks. And I love leg locks. I've been doing them since 2013 because Vichin's very heavy on the leg locks. And he goes, go work those. I'm going, okay. So I did butterfly and leg locks for a year or so.
Yeah.
And then when it came to grading time, I was standing there and Anthony goes, so you coming to the grading? I've gone, should I? And he goes, of course you should. Everyone should be there. I've gone,
yeah, you must be there to support everyone.
Yeah. I've gone,
that's a real suspicious voice, man.
I've gone, great. But it was really cool because all my training partners and my first coach from Castle Hill, they all came up.
Awesome.
So walking in the door, I'm like, everyone's here. Something must be happening. And then it was, the technique demonstration. I had so much stuff prepared. I had 30 minutes worth of stuff that I was down into 10 minutes, and I was prepared to do all that. We must have done 5 things. And Anthony goes, okay, all right, off to the side. And I'm standing there going, but I have more. I've got more things. And he goes, get off to the side. I'm like, oh, okay. And then we did about, I think, 6 rounds.
6 5-minute rounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it 5? Maybe 3 to 5.
Okay.
And when I train, I wear, as you probably would have seen in pictures, I wear skydiving goggles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because in 2016, I was training with someone. They were going to compete in the Worlds, and I caught a knee to the left eye socket, and it ruptured. That's what they call a Grove rupture. So all the inside stuff, like the vitreous and the blood, came out, and my eye deflated. And then it was straight off to hospital to get that sorted out.
Yeah.
And I went to the plastics team, and they said, "Oh, maybe we'll take it out." And I've gone, "I want a second opinion, please."
Yeah.
And then the head guy came in. He goes, "No, we'll reinflate it. We'll stitch it up, and you'll be okay." I've gone, "Oh, thank God." And then I was back. I was teaching. So that happened I got that surgery on the Wednesday, the 10th of August, and I was back teaching on the Monday.
Wow.
Just because, Anthony and his wife were, I think they'd gone overseas just briefly. So I committed to teaching a bunch of classes, and I was in.
And so, so sorry, those skydiving goggles, so they're to protect the physical impact against your actual eyes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been wearing those for?
Since then. So,
okay.
Since August.
Gotcha. Sorry, I missed that part. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it was have them in all the pictures. I was, readjusting them during my very, very final roll, because my partner kept knocking them off.
Yeah.
Kind of roll with him kind of one-handed. But that was fine. And then I was so tired at the end. Then we stood up, and Anthony wrapped the black belt around my waist, and I don't remember much after that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
really, it was really nice, really overwhelming, very, very cool.
yeah,
There's nothing like it.
yeah, you just feel elated. Do you feel like you accomplished a goal? Did you
Yeah.
feel sort of vindicated? I don't know. How did it?
I reckon all those emotions.
Yeah.
Because it kind of doesn't feel real to begin with. You kind of have to walk around with it on and then go away and, like sleep with it that night.
Yeah.
And then, come back like the next week and you go, okay, this kind of feels real now.
Yeah. And as you said, with your blue belt, you're like, okay, you got to think about everyone's going to be trying to get you now. You got that
Yeah.
black belt when you're rolling.
Yeah. I remember calling up one of my friends the next day. I've gone, oh no. He goes, what? I've gone, it's gotten worse. He's going, how you get whenever you get a belt, everyone wants to kill you. He's gone, yeah. He goes, there's no more easy rolls now. He goes, oh yeah. He goes,
That's
have fun
right.
with that.
Yeah. Awesome. And you just been and kept on training. So you're still training, you're still teaching, you're
Yep.
still loving the sport.
Absolutely. I couldn't picture life without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. So in the SBS video that I saw of you, you mentioned that you had to stop competing as a result of the potential rupture to your eyes. Is that still the case?
I had to. Oh no, I continued competing after that.
Okay.
I did. When I got my black belt, I jumped into the next tournament.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I did. Then I went to New York. I came back, then I did a submission only, and then I competed again in 2018 and then 2019. No, I have to stop because I have 2 surgeries coming up. The first one, they're removing some of the prosthetics that are at the front of my eye. Then they're taking them and putting new ones in at the back. And then once that's done, it clears up space at the front of the eye, and they can give me a cornea transplant, which will yield what I'm hoping, some really good results, and I should get some usable vision back as well. So, because the cornea because it's like genetic glue, I suppose, is what they use to stick it in. It's not sutured.
Yeah.
Like too much of an impact, like to the eye or something, could cause it to fall out.
Yeah.
So I said that my doctor's kind of said to me, he goes, so what do you want to do about jiu-jitsu? And I've gone, I think I'll just continue as normal. And they've explained how fragile the transplant could be. I've gone, all right, yeah. I've gone, look, I'll just stop competing and I'll just train as normal with the eye protection. I've gone, okay, we can deal with that. I've gone, thanks.
Yeah.
So, small sacrifice, really, I believe. I mean, I'll miss competing. There are a couple of things that I would have liked to have done. I wanted to, go and do another ADCC trials and that, but look, that's fine. If it means that I get some usable vision back and that might make me a better coach, then like that's a good trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sort of with the cornea transplant, what's kind of the best case scenario? Let's say everything goes to plan. What are they giving you numbers?
They can't just because they don't know how much vision is still kind of there as well. Because the cornea I have right now is really, like, it's really blurry, really thick. So there is vision behind it because I've had usable vision, a few years ago. So it's just getting rid of the one I have now, putting a new one on, clearing everything up.
Yeah.
It should. Look, I'm hoping for a good result is the best description that I could get. So something usable where I could probably watch like a video on my phone. That's the best description that I think I could give.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mate, I mean, it's your BJJ journey. You sort of said before, it seems like a fair trade. Absolutely, seems like a fair trade to give up competing. What do you think you're going to put in place of competition, though?
I would just like to try and be the best coach I can.
Yeah,
I feel I think I have a unique approach to the sports. I'd like to try and pass it on as best as possible. Like I've taught some seminars as well. I've good feedback from them. I taught one in 2018 at Gracie Barra Wollongong. So not long back from Henzo's. We did a heel hook seminar down there. I taught a corporate seminar with my coach's wife, Nikki Lange. She's amazing, world champion, She retired number one at the IBJF black belt rankings last year.
Awesome.
Yeah, so me and her, we did a corporate seminar for women's self-defense. I think there's some footage of me getting choked out by one of the girls.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I would really love to continue doing that. I mean, Matt Cooper says he'll have me up there. Like I really enjoy traveling.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to travel and do that. That would be like a dream.
Yeah. Well, I'm really hopeful that not only a lot of BJJ practitioners listen to this podcast, but also a lot of visually impaired people that may have started or may be thinking about starting BJJ.
Yeah.
What would you kind of say to those individuals now that you've achieved your black belt and you just continue to excel in the sport with your visual impairment?
So for the people who are thinking about
thinking about starting,
yeah. So for the people who are thinking about starting, throw away all your excuses for not walking into your nearest gym and just go and do it.
Yeah, just jump in the deep end.
Jump in the
deep end. Crack. Yeah. Because where would you be without your jiu-jitsu journey, you think?
I don't know, and that's what scares me.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't have the confidence that I have now. I'd probably be reluctant to get on public transport at nighttime.
Yeah.
Growing up out in Sydney's West like I did, I was almost mugged a few times because I had dreadlocks. I looked a bit different. So like, if people are thinking about it and haven't done it, like you're missing out on the confidence, building aspect that it will give to your life as well. So they're doing themselves an injustice by not giving themselves that opportunity.
Yeah.
As well. And for me, I don't know, I'll probably be in my room listening to music.
With dreadlocks.
With dreadlocks still.
stopping blocking streets or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love that. That's favorite. All right, Andre. So what's the future for you, mate? Where to from here?
Well, definitely with my BJJ, again, like I've said it a few times, but I really do enjoy coaching.
Yeah.
And I would like to expand that, like if at all possible. So the YouTube channel that I'm just in the process of getting up, I think will be a good platform. Just, specializing in techniques that you don't necessarily have to, be looking at to get the grasp of. So I want to do that whole, good description. So yes, of course, watch the video, but also, you can, if you're in the car driving, or if you're, can't look at your phone, at least you can listen to it and
big time
and have a good grasp of what concept is happening. That, and just trying to, I suppose, expand my reach as well. So if anybody is looking at getting me, then, get in touch. I'm available.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Andre, look, I got to just thank you from the bottom of my heart for reaching out and agreeing to do a show, sharing your story with us and telling us, your BJJ and your life journey, exposing all, if you will. It has been an absolute fascinating journey that continues on into the future. I got to tell you, what I didn't expect to feel or learn at the end of this episode was more about myself. You know what I mean? And what I'm sort of seeing is just like, walk a mile in Andre's shoes, and I will look at Rich's journey very, very differently, from jiu-jitsu, from approaching different things in life. I find it absolutely invigorating, absolutely fascinating, and something which I'll be talking about for a very, very long time. So I can't thank you enough for giving up your time and sharing some of your story with us today. And listeners, look, I hope you've also enjoyed this episode of Behind the Black Belt with Andre Powell. If you want to find out more about Andre, you can find him on Facebook. Just search Andre Powell, see all of his adventures and everything about him via that. And you can also follow Andre on Instagram. Just look for andrepowell.bjj. And as we discussed before, Andre is working on a YouTube channel, which will be coming out soon. That's going to be focused on BJJ techniques and training advice. And I'm actually really excited about this, Andre. You hit the nail on the head there. You know, one thing that I have discovered during this COVID time is you don't have to necessarily do jiu-jitsu to learn jiu-jitsu. You know, watching videos, listening to people talking about it, just listening. I don't think I'll ever forget listening how you break down a scissor sweep so succinctly, and at every single step I can visualize it. I can almost feel it. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to see how you do this YouTube channel. As you said, in the times where you physically can't get out there and do jiu-jitsu, it's in the mind, man. Just going through it.
Yeah, well, you hear people, the high-level competitors talk about, the mental side and the visualization of how they improve. I think Keenan Cornelius has done it. Jocko Willink talks about it.
Yeah.
And that's just what I'm kind of like aiming for.
Absolutely. No better person for it, mate. I think it's going to be fantastic. And if you're looking for someone to train in Sydney and you want to go give Andre a hard time because he's a black belt, then check out Langy's MMA. You can find it at www.langy'smma. That's LANGESMMA.com. All the details you need to go there and train. And again, Andre, thank you from really thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure, mate. Have you got any final words before we wrap up?
Rich, I just want to say, look, thank you so much for having me on. This has been awesome. I've really loved it. If anyone's looking for me, Facebook, send me a message on Messenger. I'm not that active on Instagram at the moment, but or find me at Langy's, or I also appeared on an episode of the Sonny Brown Breakdown. He's a training partner of mine, a really good black belt. Guys, check it out. It's a fantastic podcast, MMA related. And he'd be great on here as a guest, or I think he'd love to have you on as well, Rich, talk about your background and stuff. So
awesome. Sign us up, man. Sign us up. Let's do it.
I'll pass on your details.
Sounds good, Andre. All right. Well, thank you so much, Andre Powell. And ladies and gents, until next time, this is Rich signing off for Behind the Black Belt.
Behind the Black Belt is proud to support Veteran Grappling. Veteran Grappling is using the grappling arts to improve the lives of military veterans and first responders. Visit www.veterangrappling.com to learn about scholarship opportunities and more.
Join our community on Facebook and our website at www.behindtheblackbelt.com. Behind the Black Belt is a TDP Studios production. Behind the Black Belt is copyright of Richard Thapthing Thong and TDP Studios. The music used in this episode is Rocking Forward by X Take Rux and is used under an Attribution International 4.0 license.